What is going on, guys? The 32 people fantasy football draft is 10 minutes away. It is 10 minutes away, and I have been looking forward to this for months now. Literally, even before we had the 32 people together, I have been looking forward to this draft, and I got to tell you, I am very excited that I am not actually partaking in the draft, and that I can sit back and just laugh at how hilarious it is that in the 8th and 9th rounds of this, how many rounds is it? 12 round, 32 person draft, there's going to be players drafted that I have literally never heard of. And we are live on YouTube right now, guys, displaying the draft board. So you're going to be able to see pick by pick what's happening in the 32 person draft. If you just look up WalterPicks on YouTube. What is up, Carson Merck in the YouTube chat? Thanks for tuning in, man. Hit the like button on the YouTube stream because we're going to get the first 2 rounds of this draft live on YouTube. Someone's asking in the chat, tell us about yourself. Oh, that's a good question. My name is Sam, and a lot of people think my name is Walter because I built an app that leverages an artificially intelligent algorithm called Walter, and the app's called WalterPicks. But my name is Sam. I spend way too much time focused on fantasy football. It's like my full-time job and hobby now, so that's a little bit about me. But right now, I'm broadcasting live a 32-person fantasy football draft on YouTube. Just look up WalterPicks on YouTube. I can share my screen on YouTube. I can't share my screen on TikTok, but it's all 32 of our WalterPicks TikTok content creators in a draft together right now in 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Chuba Hubbard getting picked. Yes, every single player that you know of will get picked in this draft. There's not a single player that you know that is on a current NFL team that is not going to get drafted. I honestly think that in round 8 is, I think, where we're setting the over-under. I think by round 8, there's going to be players selected that I have literally never heard of, and I actually spend all day just looking at the NFL depth charts and players and stats. So, yeah, we're going to see some craziness happen at the back end of this draft, and I'm very glad that I am just going to be able to sit back and laugh at this draft because I am the commissioner. I am not in the league. I am the commissioner of our 32 TikTok creators. So they are all in the league, and they are all competing for 2 tickets to any NFL game they want to go to, but the last place punishment is really what they're all trying to avoid. The last place punishment in this league is the Waffle House punishment, along with getting a fat head of the person who comes in first place and hanging it in a predominant place in your home. You do not want to come in last place in this league. I'm expecting to see a lot of people in this 32-person fantasy football draft that we're broadcasting live right now on YouTube. Look up WalterPicks on YouTube. And I'm expecting to see a lot of people draft scared. I'm honestly expecting a lot of scared drafting to occur because people just don't want to come in last. I think we're going to see a lot of people focused on not coming in last and not as many people focused on coming in first. And I think if you're focused on not coming in last, you have to take a quarterback early. You have to take a quarterback early in this draft. Let me run through the league settings on this really quick. We are live on YouTube right now, guys, displaying the draft board. The draft literally starts in 7 minutes. I want to run through how the settings are set up for this league. So every single team has to start 1 running back and 1 wide receiver each week. 1 running back and 1 wide receiver. And they also have to play 3 flex players and 1 super flex. So the starting lineup is 6 players. 6 players. It's a 12 round draft, so you get 6 starters, 6 bench, but there is 1 super flex slot. So I really think quarterbacks are going to have so much value in this draft because in a 32-person league, not everyone's going to be able to get a quarterback. Not everyone's going to be able to get a quarterback. So there's going to be some teams with Patrick Mahomes who's going to put up 20-plus points every single week, and then there's going to be some teams without a quarterback at all. I think it's going to be hard to beat the team with Patrick Mahomes. I would strongly consider Pat Mahomes with the top 2 picks in this draft for that exact reason, because the other part of this, guys, with a 32-person fantasy football draft is you have to wait so long for your next pick no matter where you pick, that especially in the beginning of this draft, like, you have to assume there's going to be no quarterbacks left if you're drafting in the early part of this draft. You're not going to want to be drafting Sam Darnold in the 2nd round. But we're going to see, I expect to see a lot of people reach on some very bad quarterbacks in this draft, and that's not what you want to do. You want to get the good quarterbacks. You don't want to reach for the bad quarterbacks in this draft. So I'm very excited to see how it goes. The draft starts, guys, in 5 minutes. The draft starts in 5 minutes. I'm broadcasting it live on YouTube. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit the like button. hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. We're gonna be live on YouTube all season long, live on TikTok all season long. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna get to as many of the comments as I can as well. Pick Kelsey first. Yeah. So the other part of the settings that I didn't mention, this is really the last thing. So you got to start 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 3 flex, 1 super flex, and there's 32 people in the league. But then because there's no tight end slot, and because tight ends are so bad, because there's 32 people, to boost tight ends up a little bit, we changed the tight end settings to be 2 points per reception. So every time the tight end catches the ball, you get 2 points just for a catch. So Kelsey should be considered very early in this draft. Kelsey's like almost twice as good. Kelsey had 100 catches last season. There's 200 points right there for Travis Kelsey, and not to mention the touchdowns and the receiving yards. So yeah, I think tight ends, it'll be very interesting to see where Kelsey, Waller, Kittle go. I think TJ Hawkinson's going to be a pretty good value. Won't shock me if he goes in the first round in this draft. When does the draft start? I've been well, Caden. Thanks for asking, man. The draft starts in 5 minutes, or less than 5 minutes. Starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and we are broadcasting it live on YouTube. Just look up WalterPicks on YouTube, and you will be able to see the live YouTube of the draft, the 32-person draft, as it's happening. So you got to come check it out. There's actually already been some trades in the league. I did not agree with the trades that went down. What is a super flex? Oh, good question. A super flex means you can play. It's the same thing as a flex, but you can also play a quarterback. A normal flex spot, you can only play wide receiver, running back, tight end. A super flex spot, you can play wide receiver, running back, tight end, and quarterback. So there's one of those in this league. I am not in the draft, guys. I am the commissioner. I am very gladly, by the way, the commissioner. I want nothing to do with a 32-person fantasy football draft because when I'm in a league, I am in leagues where I expect to win. And in a 32-person league, this is going to be the most competitive fantasy football league of all time. I'm very glad that I can sit back and be a spectator and be a good commissioner in this league and in this draft. So that is my role. And we're live on YouTube, guys, showing you the draft. It's going to start in less than 4 minutes. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, guys. It takes you 2 seconds. It honestly helps us out so much. Are you guys putting money on it? No, Andrew. The first place person gets 2 tickets to any NFL game of their choice. Second place, I think, gets 1 ticket to any NFL game of their choice. Something along those lines for second place. I don't remember exactly because everyone's focused on first. First place also gets a massive, I'm talking bigger than the upper half of my body, trophy with their name engraved on it. Obviously, unlimited bragging rights. Plus, they get a lifetime subscription to the WalterPicks app if they win this 32-person fantasy league, which again, guys, we are broadcasting live on YouTube, and you're going to be able to see the picks as they're happening. I'm able to share my screen on YouTube, so just look up WalterPicks on YouTube. Thank you for liking, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Seriously, it does help me out a ton. It helps out the entire team a ton. I'm very excited. I can't believe that there's already been trades. I didn't expect trades to happen in a 32-person league. I feel like the picks, there's so much drop-off in each round. Such a massive drop-off in each round of this draft that I couldn't possibly see anyone trading up in this draft. But lo and behold, Falcons.WalterPicks says screw that. I'm going to go trade up for the second pick. And I think he gave away, I don't remember the exact trade. I did not like it for the Falcons.WalterPicks side. I liked it for the Vikings.WalterPicks side. He basically traded down from 2. And I think if I scroll over here, he got the 14th pick of the first round, but then also his second round pick and his 7th round pick. And he gave up 11th, 7th, and 1st. So he went from a first round pick and a 7th round pick, and he got a first, a second, and a 7th for a 1st, 7th, and 11th. Yeah, if you're trading back is good, guys, especially in this draft. The second overall player is going to be really good. I don't hate moving up to go get a really good quarterback. I think if he doesn't go quarterback at 2, though, this was a massive, massive mistake and a big risk. Thoughts on Damian Harris? Yeah, I do have thoughts on Damian Harris. Are you going to show the draft board? Yes, we're live on YouTube, literally showing the draft board on YouTube. Look up WalterPicks on YouTube. There is 32 teams in this league. I believe 8 of the teams, it's either 8 or 6, make the playoffs. And to determine last place, there will be a last place playoff. And if you lose in the last place playoffs, then you move on. So once you win in the losers bracket, then you're done. You didn't come in last. When you lose, then you move on to the next round, and then eventually there's 2 teams left. They play in the toilet bowl, and if you come in last place in this league, you are gonna have to do the Waffle House punishment, but you're also going to have to get a fat head of the person who came in first place, and you're gonna have to hang it predominantly in the space that you live in. So whether that be your home or your college dorm room, wherever you're at, you got to hang the fathead in a space that you do not want to hang a fathead. So that's the 2 punishments for coming in last. So pretty brutal last place punishments. You don't want to come in last in this league, but first place gets 2 free tickets to an NFL game. And also, of course, the last place punishment, we're going to do it for charity. So Walter Picks will sponsor each waffle that is eaten in the Waffle House, and we'll try to get some other people to sponsor too. So the last place punishment will be going, of course, to a good cause. Very excited, though, guys. The draft is about to begin. The draft is about to begin. I believe Alex Henry should be on the clock. We are about to see. If it gets to 6:31, then I think I might just have to hit start draft. Hey, Sam, watching on both TikTok and YouTube. Thanks, man. Also, are you not Walter? No, my name is Sam. My name is Sam. I built Walter. Walter's an artificially intelligent algorithm that powers the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. If you're trying to dominate your fantasy leagues, trying to dominate DraftKings and FanDuel or your player prop bets this season, you got to check out WalterPicks in the iOS App Store. It's completely free to download. It's completely free to try out. If you want to try out one of the premium subscriptions in the app, completely free 7-day trial. So you got to go try it out right now in the iOS App Store if you haven't tried it out yet. All right, I'm going to start the draft because it's 6:30, and I'm honestly a little surprised it's not starting on its own. Has anyone done a draft on Sleeper before and it didn't start on its own? Is that not surprising to anyone else? Let's take a quick look back at the league here. 6:30 p.m. Yeah, it should start. All right, we're going to start it up. Here we go. The draft has started. The first pick, I'm not drafting, guys. I'm the commissioner of the league. We are broadcasting this draft live on YouTube. We're broadcasting it live on YouTube. You can see the picks as they happen live on YouTube. Alex Henry, our Houston Texans WalterPicks content creator, has the first overall pick. He has the first. By the way, we determine the draft order by doing the Wonderlic test. The Wonderlic test is what's it called? It's like an intelligence test using the NFL draft process, but it's widely known as doing absolutely nothing. It tests nothing. It's the weirdest test. It's like weird math questions that they give to quarterbacks to see how smart they are. But for whatever reason, Ryan Fitzpatrick got the best ever score on the Wonderlic test, so I love the test. We took the test. All 32 people took the test, and then in order of what they got to choose their pick. So this is not just the draft order of like smartest to least smart or whatever. This is people got to choose their picks. Alex Henry actually did select the first overall pick, and he goes with Patrick Mahomes with the first overall pick. I think this is a really, really smart move, given how the Superflex works. As long as Mahomes stays healthy, I think there's almost no chance that Alex can come in last place in the draft yet. Now, I would have taken him first overall as well, and I honestly think trading up for the second overall pick, Falcons.WalterPicks, should feel really bad about that move now, because if I was trading up for the second overall pick, I would have been hoping for Mahomes, and he takes Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, second overall. Well, before you guys freak out, by the way, we were live on YouTube showing the board. I can't show the board on TikTok, but just look up WalterPicks on YouTube, and we are showing the board live on YouTube. Just look it up. And if you are watching live on YouTube, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. But I'm honestly very surprised that we saw Travis Kelce go before Christian McCaffrey in this draft. But you got to understand, tight ends get 2 points per reception in this league. But the part that I don't like about taking Kelce second overall is, Brian, thank you. I hit start draft. I was crumbling under the pressure, Brian. But I'm surprised because the problem with taking a tight end early in this draft, while they do get 2 points per reception, so Kelce is going to do really well. I mean, he had 100 catches last year, guys. He's going to have 200 points literally just from catching the ball. It doesn't even matter how many yards and touchdowns he get, which he's also going to lead the league in those stats at tight end. But he's basically a wide receiver 1. But there's no tight end slot in people's lineups. So Travis Kelce has to go into one of your flex slots, which means you have to still get a running back and a wide receiver, and you're probably not going to have a very good quarterback because at the second overall pick, you're not going to pick again for a long, long time. I think he gave up. Does he have his second round pick? Let's take a look. I think he was much farther back here. There's so many teams. This is just absolutely insane. Yeah, look, he lost his first 2 picks. So he's going to be in a very tough spot. I'm going to be very interested to see how his team ends up looking. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube where we're showing the draft board, by the way, Darren Waller just went 4th overall. I mean, the Travis Kelce pick looks much better now. But this is definitely a much worse pick than the Travis Kelce pick. I certainly would have gone with Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen a lot more than Darren Waller. Brian, our Raiders.WalterPicks creator. By the way, guys, you can follow everyone that's in this draft right now. If you just click on the list of people I'm following on TikTok, you can see it here if you're live on TikTok. You can go follow them. They're also all live right now, I think, during this draft. But if you want to see the picks as they're happening, if you're watching live on TikTok, guys, just come to the YouTube live. Come to the YouTube live. I'm showing the draft as it's happening. The first 5 picks are in. Mahomes went first overall. I agree with that pick. Kelsey went second overall. I definitely disagree with it. Christian McCaffrey went third. I'm fine with Christian McCaffrey at third. Darren Waller went fourth. I don't love it. I certainly don't love it. Remember to leave a like, guys. Yeah, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. It helps us out massively. Seriously, it takes you like 2 seconds. If you just hit the like button and the subscribe button, I promise you, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Dalvin Cook goes 6th overall. I think that all of the teams taking running backs right now should be strongly considering Kyler Murray, and there goes Kyler Murray. Michael Buetti, our Ravens.WalterPicks creator, doesn't go with Lamar Jackson at 8th overall. He goes with Kyler Murray at 8th overall. I do think Kyler's a little safer than Lamar, but I rank them pretty similarly this season. But he traded up for this slot. He traded up for it. So I think he traded up. Maybe he traded down. Let's see. Who did he trade with? Avi. Where did Avi get the picks? Yeah, here he is. Avi traded back to the 15th round, but went up in the 4th round from the 6th round. So you can see the trade right here if you're watching live on YouTube. We're broadcasting this draft live on YouTube. And this was the trade that happened. You can see the 3 picks that were traded right here. And there you go, guys. The top 4 quarterbacks are off the board. And I've been saying this all offseason. My strategy for quarterbacks this season is I'm not going to take an early quarterback unless I can be the guy that gets the last of the top 4 QBs. I want to be the guy in my league that takes the last of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. I want to be the last one to get one of those guys. Because to me, all 4 of those guys, and I have Mahomes ranked first, obviously, but all 4 of those guys, to me, Mahomes, Allen, Murray, and Jackson, they all have about as good of a chance as each other to finish as the number 1 overall quarterback. I'm not going to be surprised when Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes will finish as the number 1 overall quarterback in fantasy. So for that reason, I think so far Lamar Jackson's the best pick in the draft because he was the last of those 4 taken. Now we're going to see a lot of running backs taken off the board, and I'm very interested to see when quarterbacks start going. Worried about Justin Jefferson's injury, someone's asking in the TikTok chat. No, I'm not that worried. He's already back to almost full practice, unless there was a new injury today that I didn't see, which I don't think there was because I read the news constantly. Got Kyler in the 6th round of my draft. Yeah, Marino, I've gotten Kyler Murray in the 6th round of my drafts too. If I can get Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson back into the 5th, beginning of the 6th, I wasn't expecting that to happen in any of my season-long leagues, but it's happening, and I'm glad to take the last of those 4 guys, especially if it's the 6th round. I think 6th round you almost automatically have to. I would strongly consider it in the 5th round too. All right, I want to get to some of the questions in the chat. Hey, thanks, Sam. Luke, yeah, Luke, I liked the pick. I did. Are you the 9th pick? Because the name there is confusing. Social media, I don't know what that means. I think you're the 9th. Tyreek Hill is the first receiver taken. This is pretty interesting. Tyreek Hill was picked before Devontae Adams in this draft. I got Stafford in the 2nd. Is that true? How do I get into a draft? Well, we're doing the 32-person draft for the WalterPicks creators. Again, you can just go follow them on TikTok. It's the 32 people I'm following. But we're showing it live on YouTube, and you can see all the picks as they're happening. Of course, the draft board is literally too big for me to show you all of the picks at once, so I'm going to have to scroll along as this happens. George Kittle going 15th overall. That's a pretty interesting one. To me, George Kittle is certainly more risky than Darren Waller this season, but I won't be that shocked if George Kittle outscores Darren Waller. Darren Waller's almost definitely going to have more receptions, though, so he should outscore him in this league. Saquon before Eckler, yeah. I first of all, I applaud the Saquon Barkley pick because, like I was saying before the draft started, I went into this expecting a lot of people to draft scared because the last place punishment is so bad in this league. You don't want to go to a Waffle House for 24 hours. You do not want to get a fat head of the person who comes in first place and have to rank it and have to hang it in a predominant place in your home. So I didn't expect Saquon Barkley to get picked this early because to me, Saquon Barkley is the definition of risk reward right now in fantasy football. He's extremely risky because he's on the Giants, and the Giants are terrible. The Giants' offensive line's bottom 5 in the league. Daniel Jones probably bottom 5 in the league, but it's Saquon Barkley, the most athletic running back, arguably in the history of the NFL. So it's not that surprising people are reaching for Saquon Barkley either. But that is a going for first place move, taking Saquon Barkley in the first round. And we see George Kittle, Devontae Adams. I mean, pretty good value for Devontae Adams where you consider where Tyreek Hill went. Personally, if I was in this league, though, I would be drafting a quarterback in the first round. I know we saw all the top 4 quarterbacks go. I would be considering quarterbacks with every single one of these picks still, though, because you can start a quarterback in the super flex slot, and there's going to be some teams that just don't even end up getting a quarterback. If I didn't go quarterback, though, I would almost definitely go running back, because running backs, there's such a massive drop-off. You can even see this in your leagues, like in 12, 10-person leagues. The drop-off in running back after the first 2 rounds is just insane. It's insane. It's literally you go from Joe Mixon, who's going to have an every down role, a 3-down role, and if he just stays healthy, easy running back 1, to like considering Chris Carson, like 10 picks later. And Chris Carson is potentially in a relatively similar role, but he doesn't have the pass catching upside that Joe Mixon has. And then literally a round later, you're already looking at guys like Mike Davis, who are just not the type of guys you want to be spending a 3rd and 4th round pick on. And in this draft, this 32-person draft, which again, we're broadcasting live on YouTube right now, is going to run out of running backs so insanely fast that there's going to be some teams that didn't get a running back, and you have to start at least one running back each week, that are just so screwed and just have to reach for a running back. I think I would approach this draft in a way where I didn't have to reach for someone. That means going early quarterback. We just saw Dak Prescott get taken 18th overall, and that means going early running back as well. I think so far, this is about what I expected. The pick that surprised me most was definitely the Darren Waller pick, but I haven't done as much research as I'm sure these people have, all of our WalterPicks creators have, into the 2-point per reception scoring setting. Because clearly, the tight ends are going to score a lot of points with these settings. Justin Herbert goes 21st overall. That's from our Packers.WalterPicks creator, Coach Hendricks, the youngest head coach in Kansas high school football. All right, what's your TikTok? My TikTok is WalterPicks, @WalterPicks. And if you're watching live on TikTok right now, first of all, thank you guys. Hit the follow button if you're not following me yet on TikTok. But you got to come to the YouTube live stream, because you can literally see the picks as they're happening on YouTube. And if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, just take 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, because it helps us all out a ton. Helps my whole WalterPicks team out massively. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be live throughout the entire season. Definitely going to be doing a lot of updates about how this 32-person fantasy football league is going. And again, I'm not picking in this league. I'm just the commissioner. I'm just sitting back, and I am very ready to see how hilarious this draft gets by round 7, by round 8. I know I won't be live during those rounds, but everyone in the draft on TikTok will be live, and we'll be talking through their picks. I expect the over-under in this draft for a player to be drafted that I've never heard of, and granted, I spend literally all day looking at NFL stats, is probably like round 8. Over-under is round 8 for when there's going to be a player drafted that I've literally never heard of. The Sporty Jordy taking Najee Harris with the 23rd overall pick. Our Eagles.WalterPicks creator, she's been absolutely crushing it. I like that pick a lot. Again, the running backs are going to dry out super fast, and the quarterbacks obviously will too. There's just only so many good there's like 15 quarterbacks that you can realistically take in the first 2 rounds of this draft. You don't want to be the guy taking Sam Darnold in the 3rd round, and I bet we're going to see someone do something like that. The draft board, we're live on YouTube. Look up WalterPicks on YouTube, and you can see the draft board. And if you are watching live on YouTube, again, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Why won't you be live? Bennett, I actually have my own draft tonight. I have my own draft tonight, and it's at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So that's why I can't be live during that. I got to be at the draft for that. It's an in-person draft. So that's why I won't be live for this entire time. And it's why I think, did we just have the first auto pick? The first auto pick is from our Dolphins.WalterPicks creator. He's got to get a lot of heat for this. And he is now probably who I am rooting for last place. I mean, the one guy that is auto picking, Dolphins.WalterPicks. Not a good look. Stephon Diggs taken in the 1st round. It's not a terrible pick, which is this is the worst part about the auto drafting, guys. They end up with good teams. Somehow they always end up with good teams. The draft did start. And all right, let me run through the picks in order really quickly. Let's see how this is shaping up. Patrick Mahomes went 1st overall. Kelsey went 2nd. McCaffrey 3rd. That start doesn't shock me that much. Again, 2 point per reception for tight ends. This is why tight ends are getting drafted so early. But you don't need to even start a tight end each week. You only need to start 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 3 flex, 1 super flex. Super flex means you can also play a quarterback in that slot. So you don't even need a tight end on your team. So I don't hate the strategy of just not drafting any tight ends, even though it is 2 point per reception for tight ends. All right, then Josh Allen goes, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. Those are the first 9 picks. We saw the top 4 quarterbacks go in the first 9 picks because of the Superflex slot and what that means in this draft. All right, we are, then we see Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, the first wide receiver taken, and Titans.WalterPicks must be very high on Tyreek Hill. I know he is because he took him over Devontae Adams. 4 picks before Devontae Adams. Avery Russo, our Washington.WalterPicks creator, has got to be feeling pretty good about taking Devontae Adams. 4 picks after Tyreek Hill. Then we see Nick Chubb go, Dak Prescott, Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson. I love the Antonio Gibson pick with where he was able to get them. That's Alex, our Panthers.WalterPicks creator. Then Justin Herbert. By the way, if I was in this draft, I would be the one drafting Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Russell. Like I would be taking quarterbacks right now. I would take a quarterback with my first pick or running back with my first pick in this draft. We see Najee Harris, Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, the first and only auto pick so far in the draft. And you got to be concerned for Dolphins.WalterPicks. If he continues to auto draft in this league, he could be in a very difficult spot because usually when you auto draft, you end up with actually a pretty good team. But later in this draft, like he is going to get auto-drafted guys that are literally out of the league. Like he's going to have guys on his team that are not even on NFL teams if he auto-drafts this whole time. So that's definitely a storyline to watch throughout the draft. Joe Mixon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This is the end of the running back tier right here. If we quickly take a look at the list of running backs left. Like take a look at this list of running backs left. Are you really going to take these guys in the first or second round of a draft? DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, Chris Carson. Like, these are the guys you now have to think about. This is that massive drop-off in running back I'm talking about. It's not just in this league. It's in every league. After Joe Mixon is taken, to me, that's when the drop-off occurs because Clyde Edwards-Helaire, his ankle injury is actually pretty concerning for me right now. But that being said, if Clyde is fine, then he's also a part of that tier 1 of running backs. But there's just not that many of them, which is why my traditional strategy, especially if I'm in the back end of drafts, I want 2 running backs for my first 2 picks in like traditional leagues. This is obviously not a traditional league though. This is a 32-person fantasy league with very weird settings and a very scary last place punishment. So right now the front runner for last place is Mike DiRienzo, our Dolphins.WalterPicks creator, because he is currently in auto draft and there's no timeline for him coming back. I have heard no news about it. All right. Yo, you still going to answer my email? Yeah, no, of course. I've been, I think, a little behind, honestly, on the emails. But if you've sent me an email, I almost always will respond within a week. Second round of the 32-person draft. We are about to end. Is Browns.WalterPicks about to auto-pick too? Oh, wow. That was a last-second pick there by Browns.WalterPicks. And I would have been very surprised if he auto-picked. And it looks like Mike DiRienzo, by the way, Dolphins.WalterPicks, he's back. So no concerns about the auto picking there, and I'm sure he did set his priority list before if he knew he was going to auto draft. So he's back, so there's not as much concern. Hey Sam, is Ronald Jones good this season? 32. Why? Yeah, I think Ronald Jones is going to start, but I want nothing to do with him in fantasy football. 32 people because we recently brought on 32 TikTok creators, 1 for each NFL team. I'm a big believer in what the TikTok platform is for content creators that are just starting out. There's never been a time like this in a better platform like this to build an audience from completely scratch. And I've experienced this firsthand just over the last year. And that's why we brought on 32 TikTok creators, 1 for each NFL team, onto the WalterPicks brand. But we also, in the spirit of fantasy football, made them join a 32-person fantasy league. And there is a exciting first place prize of 2 tickets to any NFL game of your choice, but also a pretty scary last place punishment of Waffle House for 24 hours minus however many waffles you eat. And you got to get a fat head of the person that comes in first place, and you got to hang it predominantly in your home. All right, that's a shocker. All right. That's the punishment, though, HQ guest. That's the punishment. The Waffle House, which is the Waffle House, I feel like it's going to be an overdone thing this year. I feel like so many leagues. It was hilarious last year because not that many people did it. That, like, one story blew up. Now everyone's going to do it, but it's still hilarious. It is still hilarious that you got to go to a Waffle House for 24 hours. It's even funnier. By the way, the draft has already started. We're broadcasting it live on YouTube. Come to the YouTube channel. And if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. But the Waffle House thing is still hilarious because most of the people in the draft do not live in a place that is even remotely close to a Waffle House. So not only do you have to go spend 24 hours in a Waffle House, but you also have to go get to the Waffle House. For some people, that could be days of travel, like literally. So, or they will have to find a similar Waffle House replacement like IHOP or something if they're on the East Coast. Okay, spam stay if you want Sam to stay live. Oh God, Ben, what have you done? All right. We're on to the second round, and this is really when the strategy is going to start kicking in. We're on the second round. Again, we're broadcasting live on YouTube. If you're watching live on YouTube, guys, and you haven't yet, you got to hit the subscribe button. You got to hit the like button. We've seen Josh Jacobs and Chris Carson already be taken in the second round, and I do not want to be the team that's taking running back in the second round because the drop-off is massive. But you got to remember, all these teams taking players right now are not going to have any running backs available to them in the third round. So you need to start a running back every single week, and you need to start a wide receiver every single week. So if you didn't take a running back in round 1, you almost have to take one in round 2. Because if you don't take one in round 2, then your starting running back literally might be not even the starter on his own team. He's probably, someone's going to end up starting Ronald Jones as their number 1 running back in this league if they didn't take a running back in the first round. So I don't hate the Josh Jacobs and Chris Carson pick for that reason, but this is what I'm talking about with the running back drop-off. I just don't want to be in any league the person reaching for these middle round, like second tier, third tier running backs, because the first tier is so much better, and they were picked like 8 picks ago. Who went first? So the first overall pick, if we go back to the front here for a second, this is how the draft started. Again, we're showing live on YouTube, and Mahomes went first, and then Kelsey went second, because it's 2 point per reception for tight ends in this league. Absolutely changes how you approach the tight end position, but you don't even need to start a tight end each week. So I don't love reaching for tight ends for that reason, because like I was saying, you have to start one running back, you have to start one wide receiver in this league, and if you started with a tight end, like your starting running back and receiver is probably going to be pretty weak, and you might not even end up getting a quarterback. I'm honestly surprised at how many quarterbacks are still around. Let's take a quick look at what the quarterbacks are looking like right now, because there's still, I think, a decent amount of good quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, I probably wouldn't reach for him. Tom Brady would be interesting. This is going to be TJ Hawkinson and Kyle Pitts go back to back. I love the TJ Hawkinson hype right now, by the way. TJ Hawkinson is the guy that I'm literally trying to get in every single draft. He's the one player that I go into the draft like, please let TJ Hawkinson fall to me in round 5 of my draft, because if that happens, then I'm getting a guy that could literally be on pace with targets with Darren Waller, but 4 rounds later. So I love TJ Hawkinson. He checks so many boxes this season. But our Bills.WalterPicks creator, Jake Cook, he started Joe Mixon and TJ Hawkinson. Talk about a fragile team. Both those guys were very injured throughout all of last season and even seasons prior. All right, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, he's going in the second round. We did have the first, or maybe not the first, I got to double check, but one of the most on-brand picks right here, Dallas Goedert. A bit of a reach, but again, it is 2 point per reception for tight ends, and this is our Eagles.WalterPicks creator. So it's a very on-brand pick for her. Dallas Goedert in the second round. I have been higher on Dallas Goedert recently because Jordan is very high on Dallas Goedert, and she's very in tune with what's going on with the Eagles. I did not have a first pick. I'm not in this league. I am the commissioner of the league. So I just get to sit back and laugh as this draft heads towards rounds 3 and 4. And as we get to the later rounds, it's just going to be absolutely hilarious to see how this plays out. All right, this is not a dynasty league. No, this is a season-long league. We'll be doing this again next year with our 32 TikTok creators next season. I'm hoping to bring on as many of our current TikTok creators back on for next season. And anyone that does not join next season, then we're gonna have to fill those spots and have another application round. But we will be doing this again next year, the 32-person fantasy draft. Can we watch like the computer? Yeah, Zach, come to the YouTube stream. Look up WalterPicks on YouTube, and you can see the draft live as it's happening. I can share my screen on YouTube. I can't share my screen on TikTok without you just not being able to see me at all. On YouTube, I can share my screen and be on the screen. It's great. TikTok should really have that feature. So that is why you can come watch the live on YouTube. And if you are watching live on YouTube, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is a 32-person draft with all of the WalterPicks TikTok creators. You can go follow them. If you just go to WalterPicks on TikTok and you just click on the people I'm following, you can just go follow them. That's the list of people that are the TikTok creators for WalterPicks. And those are the people drafting right now. And almost all of them right now are live on YouTube. If I was one of them, I honestly might not go live on YouTube and just get locked in and be very focused, because I would not want to come in last in this draft. But I know a lot of them are live streaming because they're dedicated to their role of creating content. So I love to see it. I do. I love to see it. All right, we're back on. Peter Craw is back on the clock. Jalen Hurts goes. I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. Jalen Hurts is another guy that if I miss out on these top 4 quarterbacks, if I can't be the guy in my draft that gets the last of these 4 guys, then I'm just going to hope for Jalen Hurts like much later in the draft. This is obviously not the typical draft, but in typical drafts, Jalen Hurts, I've seen him be around in the 11th round of 12-person season-long leagues. Like, that is an absolute steal, especially in leagues where it's 4 points per passing touchdown, but 6 points per rushing touchdown. The rushing quarterbacks just get an even bigger boost than they already have. Rushing quarterbacks already have this huge advantage in fantasy. Do you have a team or just the commissioner? Yeah, I'm just the commissioner. I'm just the commissioner. And guys, can we get this live to 1,000 likes? Can we get this live to 1,000 likes? We got 700 people tuned in right now. Hit the like button. Takes you 2 seconds. Hit the like button. It's like right down there somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where, but hit the like button because we can hit 1,000 likes. That would be super exciting. All right, David Montgomery is going in the 2nd round. But you almost have to reach for running backs right now because, again, you have to start a wide receiver and running back every week. I don't hate the wide receiver running back start. I think as this draft goes on, I'm going to dislike these tight end picks even more and more. Where can I watch the draft board? Come to YouTube. WalterPicks on YouTube. You can come to the live YouTube HQ. Yes, thanks for liking, man. I appreciate it. All right. We are not going to spam the chat. Very unnecessary. The nice part about YouTube is the chat is less spammy, so I do appreciate that. All right, what are your thoughts on DeAndre Swift? Any running backs you like more with similar ADP? Well, I'm nervous about. I like DeAndre Swift a lot, like 2 weeks ago, because DeAndre Swift is on pace for a lot of targets this season. It's T.J. Hawkinson, it's DeAndre Swift, and that's it. I mean, like, they actually just cut Brashad Perriman, who was supposed to be one of their top 3 receivers. How did the Lions end up with an even worse wide receiver group than when they started this preseason? Like, that to me is absolutely astounding. It is Amon-Ra St. Brown, it is Quintez Cephas, it is Tyrell Williams. Those are the top receivers for the Lions. So yeah, I like DeAndre Swift for all those reasons, but DeAndre Swift also already has a groin injury, and he's already questionable for week 1, and I hate drafting players that are already injured. I don't overanalyze who's gonna get injured, but if you're already injured, then I really don't want you on my fantasy team. Like, I'm certainly hoping everyone gets healed from their injuries. Injuries are the worst part of sports. Hands down, worst part of sports. But injuries are going to find your fantasy team. You don't need to go find the injuries. So that's why I'm a little off with DeAndre Swift, who just got taken in the 2nd round. Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift start for Matt Kepner. I don't think I would, and he's our Bengals.WalterPicks creator. I don't think I would start this draft running back. I think he's the only person that's done that, though. Let's take a look. I don't hate it because, like, what if your first running back gets picked and you only take one running back in like the first 3 rounds and you have to start a running back every week in this league? Like, you are so screwed. So it's actually a relatively safe route to take 2 running backs, but it's like the quarterbacks left are already so bad. And this is why I was saying it made sense to take Patrick Mahomes in first overall. Like, look at the quarterbacks people are reaching for in the 2nd round of this draft. Trevor Lawrence is going in the 2nd round. Ryan Fitzpatrick's going in the 2nd round. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks left. I'm interested to see what quarterbacks are left. I think if I just say projected points, we got Trey Lance, but Trey Lance you can't draft Trey Lance and Justin Fields early in this draft. They might not even start week 1. But if you do get them later in the draft, you're probably going to win the league. Kirk Cousins, Joe Burrow is still available. Baker Mayfield. Where's Browns.WalterPicks again? Did he already picked, right? Back here, I think. Yeah, he had the last pick of the draft, 32nd overall. So he's not going to end up with Baker Mayfield, though I'm sure he's hoping for it. In a 12-person, who do you take with pick 12 and 13? I actually have a 14-person draft coming up later tonight, and that's why I don't think I'm going to be able to live stream this entire draft, which I know is disappointing, and I know Ben is not happy about it. But in a 13th, I have a 13th pick in a 14-person draft tonight, and I'm trying to go Antonio Gibson. I want Austin Eckler. I want 2 running backs most likely. I'll probably start running back at the back end of drafts. But if there's a huge run on running backs in the first round, which could very easily happen, don't be afraid to go grab one of the top 5 wide receivers: Devonta Adams, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins. All 5 of those guys are really, really safe assets in fantasy football. will Henry Ruggs be better this year? Yeah, I think he will be. But Bryan Edwards is, I think, more likely to lead that team, lead that receiving group at least, in receiving yards than Henry Ruggs is. I won't be surprised if Ruggs just ends up being kind of this, like, fast outside receiver that kind of only does one thing in the NFL, and that's run fast straight up the field, just like straight vertical routes. That's kind of what we saw out of him as a rookie. But I'm not going to write off Henry Ruggs. He's only been in the league for 1 year, and the most frequent breakout year for wide receivers is year 2. So I'm never going to write off any year 2 wide receiver. So I'm not writing off Henry Ruggs. But the emergence of Bryan Edwards is, I think, a little bit concerning for Henry Ruggs. And I like Bryan Edwards more than Henry Ruggs in fantasy football right now. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, you got to hit that like button. You got to hit that subscribe button. We are almost at 500 likes. Hit the like button. We can get to 500 likes. And it takes you like 5 seconds. It actually does help out a ton. So I do appreciate it. Who ended up with Tom Brady? Let's take a look. Tom Brady went pretty early in the second round, and it was Mike DiRienzo, our Dolphins.WalterPicks creator, who, by the way, I was a little nervous about because he auto-picked Stephon Diggs with his first pick, but I think he set his cue ahead of time, and he certainly did not auto-pick Tom Brady. So he's back on track, and he's no longer, I think, the biggest concern right now based off these teams that have been drafting. All right, Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson. Look at that stack right there, the Gus Edwards-Lamar Jackson stack. I don't hate it. I really don't hate that pick at all, with Gus Edwards going just a few picks after DeAndre Swift. Let's take a look at the running backs still available. If you're watching live on YouTube, just search WalterPicks. If you're on TikTok, search WalterPicks. You can see the draft live as it's happening. Someone's asking in the TikTok chat, where do I see Mike Davis finishing? There's a lot of hype about Mike Davis from our 32 content creators in WalterPicks. I am not one of these people adding to the hype train, though. He was actually on my do not draft list because he is 28 years old. He's never had more than 165 carries in his entire career. Like, I just won't be that surprised if some no-name for the Atlanta Falcons ends up supplanting Mike Davis at some point this season. It just won't be the most shocking thing in the world to me because he fits a bad profile in fantasy football and in the NFL with where he's at in his career. But he also has such limited competition and is in such a pass-heavy offense that I could see him being a really valuable asset in PPR leagues. And I have been coming around on Mike Davis a little bit. I would be considering him in like the 6th and 7th round, though. And he usually is going in like the 5th round. I'm very intrigued to see where he's picked in this draft, by the way, because he's coming up. He's pretty high up there now on the queue in the running back column. By the way, I think Miles Sanders is becoming one of the most undervalued players in fantasy. People hate Miles Sanders. Why does everyone hate Miles Sanders so much? I understand not taking him in the 3rd round, but he's now going sometimes in the 5th round. The 5th round of fantasy drafts, which is just absolutely insane to me. That's a great value. We had our Eagles.WalterPicks creator, Jordan. She tweeted out something earlier this week that said, there's a chance, if healthy, that the Eagles have a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. And if that happens, guys, then Miles Sanders is going to be the steal of fantasy drafts. He's still available right now in this draft. We see Logan Thomas. Wow, very fast pick from Alex Henry there with Adam Thielen. And he almost has to go running back here, right? Because you got to start one wide receiver, one running back every week. So you almost have to take a running back here. Let's see who he goes with. I know who I would take. I was just talking about him. But we will see who he goes with. Logan Thomas goes to Vikings.WalterPicks. Now, this can be a little confusing. He did not start tight end, because this is Vikings.WalterPicks Logan Thomas, but this is Falcons.WalterPicks Travis Kelce, which is a little confusing. All right. Amari Cooper or Tyler Lockett in a full PPR league. I would probably go with Amari Cooper over Tyler Lockett in a full PPR league. Amari Cooper, guys, he only had 3 games. Only 3 games under 10 points last season. 80% of his games went over 10 points without Dak Prescott in most of the season. Amari Cooper is way more consistent than everyone realizes. People think Amari Cooper is this like super boom bust guy. All right, Javonte Williams goes with the first pick of the 3rd round. I like that he went running back there. I think that was a smart move. But I think I would have gone Miles Sanders over Javonte Williams. Yeah, 5th round if you draft Miles Sanders is an absolute steal. Sony Michel thoughts. Yeah, Kieran. I do have some Sony Michel thoughts. I think Sony Michel certainly finds himself in a place that has much more upside in fantasy football now. But I do think Darrell Henderson's still going to lead that backfield in both carries and targets. So I think that Sony Michel, though, could harm Darrell Henderson's value. It's definitely possible that Sony Michel carves out an early down role and or a goal line role. Again, I still think Henderson out carries and out targets him. But if Sony Michel gets some first down work and some goal line work, well, there you go. There's no more ceiling outcome for Darrell Henderson, who had a really high ceiling before the Sony Michel trade. So I like Darrell Henderson more than Sony Michel, definitely. And I would only be drafting Darrell Henderson, not Sony Michel. But Darrell Henderson's starting to slide now, like 6th, 7th, 8th round, and he's a guy that I'm pretty interested in as he continues to slide. And there we go. Mike Davis is selected. And why does everybody hate Miles Sanders? Why is Mike Davis getting picked before Miles Sanders? Can someone explain this to me? Like I'm 5? Like I do not understand. Was Miles Sanders taken and I just did not notice? Like is Sleeper lying to me? Or is Miles Sanders injured and I was not aware? Gibson or Eckler non-PPR? In a non-PPR league, it's Gibson. In a PPR league, though, it's probably Eckler. Who do you think has had the best draft in the first 2 rounds? Yeah, let's take a look. So the first 2 rounds are complete. If I was in this league, I would be going for a quarterback and running back with my first 2 picks. So let's just take a look at the teams that did that, quarterback, running back. So we got Christian McCaffrey and Kirk Cousins. I don't love Kirk Cousins, but obviously you got to love Christian McCaffrey. So that is a pretty good start. And Kirk Cousins should be he was actually pretty consistent last year with Justin Jefferson. There's actually a higher ceiling than you think, even on the run first Vikings for Kirk Cousins. But second round pick is not amazing for Kirk Cousins. All right. Then we have Alvin Kamara, Joe Burrow. I think I like Alvin Kamara, Joe Burrow a little bit more than Christian McCaffrey, Kirk Cousins. I think Joe Burrow, he threw so much last season. He was like averaging over 40 attempts a game in his first few games as a rookie. I'm expecting him to take a leap with the improved receivers as well. Kyler Murray, Cooper Kupp. Don't love that start because there's no running back yet. But Miles Sanders is somehow still available. I should probably stop saying that. Someone's going to get mad. All right. Ezekiel Elliott, Julio Jones. No quarterback yet, so I'm pretty concerned about that team. We'll see how their quarterback ends up. I don't hate this running back start. I'm very interested to see how Mac Kepner's team comes out, Bengals.WalterPicks, because if he can get a quarterback, then there's so much depth at wide receiver that he's going to be able to get some late round wide receivers that he's not going to struggle finding a starting receiver. But he now doesn't need to worry too much about the running back position, and you don't want to be focused on these running backs that are left, especially after the next few are taken. Like, you're not even getting a starting running back at this point in the draft anymore. So there's going to be some I'm very intrigued at how this team turns out with, I think he had the 13th overall pick. We have Nick Chubb, Jalen Hurts. Absolutely love that start as well. I think this is a super safe and high upside start. We have Austin Eckler and Matthew Stafford. I think I like Chubb and Hurts more than Eckler Stafford, but it won't surprise me if Eckler Stafford does outscore Chubb and Hurts. We have the last running back quarterback combo. There's not that many left. There's really not that many left. This is the last one. Chris Carson and Aaron Rodgers. And I don't think that's my favorite of the group. Honestly, I think my favorite start so far would probably be the Bengals.WalterPicks, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, even though I don't love how early DeAndre Swift went with the groin injury. Probably one of my favorite starts, but I also really do like this Nick Chubb, Jalen Hurts, and it's Austin Eckler, Matthew Stafford. I think these are my 2 favorite starts right here. We'll see how these teams actually end up, though. And there goes Miles Sanders, easily the steal of the draft. How is this not the steal of the draft? Look at the running backs taken before him. Miles Sanders, the clear starting running back on the Philadelphia Eagles. Sure, there might be other running backs involved, but Sanders is going to get at least 60% of the carries behind what is going to be a vastly improved offensive line with a quarterback he performed well with last season. And he went in, this is insane how late he went. He went 1 pick before Kareem Hunt, who's not a starting running back. Damian Harris goes, and here go all the running backs. You are going to be in a really tough spot if you didn't already draft a running back. And let's look at some of the teams that haven't drafted a running back yet. Tyreek Hill, Trevor Lawrence. Well, who's going to be your running back? Let's go take a look at the running backs that he has to select from. Trey Sermon, Darrell Henderson. Not the most exciting list. Chase Edmonds, maybe. Raheem Mostert, A.J. Dillon. I would not be trusting this list in terms of sleepers projections, but they all do have access to the WalterPicks app. Guys, if you haven't tried out the WalterPicks app yet, you got to try it out. It's completely free to download. It leverages Walter, our artificially intelligent algorithm. I've spent tens of thousands of hours helping build the app and the algorithm, and it helps you in your fantasy football draft. It helps you make start-sit decisions. It helps you dominate trades, make sure you don't lose trades, more importantly, and it helps you with DraftKings and FanDuel advice and player props. And it's completely free to go download, completely free to try out, and if you want to try one of the premium subscriptions, it's a completely free 7-day trial for a complete week. Thanks, Lewis. Drew Lukoff, man, how is it going? We're going to be drafting really soon. I didn't see Lewis in here, but thanks for tuning in. List every single sleeper that you have. Lewis, you missed that part of the live stream, man, and I'm not surprised you're lurking in the live streams because I'm drafting against you tonight, but have no fear. There are so many sleepers that I have and so many guys that I want in fantasy football that I am never out of sleepers in my drafts. This is why I'm so hard to draft against, because you take one guy from me, I already have a very good backup option. So I'm not too worried about any drafts that I'm in. I'm planning to come in first place in every single league that I take part in. All right, Lamar, Gus, and Godwin, best team. Yeah, I like that team a lot. I do like the Lamar, Gus start here. And Chris Godwin, pretty good value for where he just went as well. And you look at the players that were taken before him. I mean, I could realistically see Chris Godwin going ahead of Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, and Deontay Johnson. Like, I've definitely been in drafts where that has happened. So, yeah, I like the value there that we're seeing at that slot as well. Thoughts on Saquon, Walter? Kyle, my name's actually Sam. It's a classic mistake. Do not worry about it. My name is Sam. I helped build Walter. Walter is an artificially intelligent algorithm that powers the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. You can download it completely free today. It's going to help you dominate fantasy sports. But my name is Sam, and I have thoughts on Saquon Barkley. I am very excited, first of all, to just see him back and healthy. That's number one. And I'm not very worried about the injury. A lot of people are touting big Saquon Barkley injury concerns. I'm not that concerned about Saquon Barkley. I'm not that concerned about him because he is already practicing at full speed in pads in practice, 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 in practice. And he's going to be fully healthy before he plays in an actual game, which I think is going to be week 1. I'm not worried about the workload concerns. What I am worried about for Saquon Barkley is the Giants. The Giants have a bottom 5 offensive line and arguably a bottom 5 quarterback. So how is Saquon Barkley going to perform when the Giants offense just craters around him? That's the big concern. In a PPR league, though, we've already seen Saquon Barkley succeed in fantasy football on bad teams. And he's going to go, like he's going in the top 10 picks of every single fantasy draft that I've done. I've seen him go as early as 3rd overall. I've seen him go as late as 10th overall. I haven't really seen him outside that range in recent drafts. Where can I watch the draft? Just look up WalterPicks on YouTube. We're doing a 32-person fantasy draft with our 32 TikTok content creators. Again, you can follow them on TikTok if you just click on the list of people that I'm following. And there goes Darrell Henderson, middle of the 3rd round. I don't hate, by the way. I think running back, quarterback is probably the best start to this draft. Unless you get an early tight end, which I understand early tight ends because of the 2 point per reception for tight ends. But again, you got to start one running back and one wide receiver each week in this season. So running backs dry up so fast that you definitely want one. And if you can get 2, I think that's going to be a huge advantage for you because you can play one in the flex, but also when one gets hurt or has their bye week, like you still have an okay running back to start. And the depth at wide receiver is so deep that you're going to be able to get guys that will at least score you fantasy points in this league in the 4th, 5th, 6th round at the wide receiver position. Like, just take a look at the receivers left. There's still so many. If we compare running backs, look at the running back list. This happens in every draft, by the way. This is exactly why you need to go early running back in the majority of your drafts. Look at the start. We have Trey Sermon maybe is a starter, or maybe it's Raheem Mostert. Like, we don't even know which one's starting. I think it's Trey Sermon, but it could easily be Raheem Mostert. Ronald Jones is probably starting, but Leonard Fournette's going to be involved, so will Giovanni Bernard. A.J. Dillon's definitely not. Like, there's no starters left. Zach Moss maybe will be a starter, but he's going to split a lot of the work. This is not the guys you want to be starting at running back. You look at the wide receivers left, though, like year 2 receivers with a lot of upside. Mike Williams in what's going to be much better. Like, there's so many upside receivers left still that if you don't have receivers, you're probably feeling fine in this draft. If you don't have running backs, you're probably a little nervous that you're going to end up in a Waffle House very far away from home, and you're going to have to be in there for 24 hours minus however many waffles you eat. So that's my analysis so far of this draft. Guys, I will be wrapping up the live stream at the end of the 3rd round. But don't worry, a lot of our creators are live on TikTok right now, and they will be able to talk through the draft and show you the draft board live on their TikTok stream. So when this ends in the end of the 3rd round, we will still be live on TikTok. So you got to go to the TikTok lives in a few minutes. But I will stay on till the end of the 3rd round as promised. All right. Yeah, Yarsma, it is Sam. It is time for people to call Sam Walter again. It is that time of year. This is a great time of year. That means we're reaching new people, Yarsma. If they don't know, if they think my name is Walter, that's a good sign, honestly. But my name is Sam. It's a classic mistake. Walter is our artificially intelligent algorithm that powers the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store that helps us dominate our fantasy football leagues. And I've helped build this app and the algorithm, Walter, over the last 3 years. I've spent, honestly, way too much time of my life building it. It's been a lot of fun. And I use it in every single one of my drafts. I'm actually posting a video tomorrow, probably, about how I use the app to dominate my leagues. I just traded Damian Harris for CEH in a non-PPR league. I definitely won. Yeah, you won. There's concerns about the Clyde Edwards-Helaire injury, but you still won. Dude, when's Walter coming to Android? It's a must business move. Yeah, Nicholas, I agree. It is a must business move. It's on our roadmap, 100%. It is. I'm really hoping, and I don't like giving a hard date because there's a lot of development stuff to get done, but I'm really hoping in the first month of the NFL season we are on Android. And once we're there, obviously, like we're there for good. So I am hoping that it happens in the first month of the season, though. And I know there's a lot of people waiting for our Android version of the app. Okay, the draft is happening right now, guys. If you're watching live on TikTok, it's live on YouTube right now. Just look up WalterPicks. You can see the picks. Trey Sermon gets picked. I don't hate that pick, by the way. I like Trey Sermon, and I think Trey Sermon's going to start for the 49ers. And by the way, what did I tell you about the teams that didn't take quarterbacks? Look at the quarterbacks going in the third round. Jameis Winston, Sam Darnold, Big Ben. I mean, this is exactly why you wanted to start quarterback. I honestly, now looking at this, I think this is forming into my favorite team. Nick Chubb, Jalen Hurts, Darrell Henderson, 2 running backs, and you got a good quarterback. I don't hate that team at all. I do like the Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards start here as well, because the teams with these top 4 quarterbacks are going to just pummel these teams that are trotting out Sam Darnold and Big Ben, and like at least some of these quarterbacks being taken this round are not going to make it through the whole season. Like it's just not going to be surprising to anyone when Jameis Winston, Sam Darnold, or Big Ben just either like are toast this season and just can't perform at their usual levels, or they just can't start a full season in the NFL. Like it's just past their time. I won't shock me whatsoever. Michael Thomas is going in the 3rd round, and he changes his name to Michael Thomas Slant King. This is someone that is drafting for, and I don't know who this is. Someone can let me know in the chat if you know, if you're one of the 32 creators. But this is someone that's drafting for first place. They just took Michael Thomas in the 3rd round. Michael Thomas in the 3rd round. Michael Thomas literally might not play for the first month of the season or longer. And here we go. Daniel Jones is getting picked in the 3rd round. And look at the wide receivers that are getting taken. You're not allowed to go. Sorry, I forbid it. I know. This live stream is doing well. This has been a lot of fun. And I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Make sure, again, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, guys, you got to hit the like and you got to hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. It helps out the whole WalterPicks team a lot. All right. Do you think Mac Jones is going to take the job from Cam Newton? Yeah, it's just a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. There's definitely a scenario that, I'm expecting Cam Newton to start week 1, and there's a scenario he does better than what Pats fans are expecting, and I think generally fans are expecting. And if that happens, he could start for a pretty long time, but I would be shocked if he started the whole season, because it would be really shocking if Cam Newton doesn't go back to his form from last season at some point this year. It could be as soon as week 1. It could be like as late as week 10. Who knows? But at some point, yeah, Mac Jones is going to start for the Patriots. Carson Wentz taken with the last pick of the 3rd round. And now we're getting into the interesting part of the draft. The 4th round, Tyler Higbee kicks it off in the 4th round. And there is a lot of drafting still to be done. What was your major in college? My major was math, applied math actually, and applied psychology. But my co-founder, Dylan, he majored in computer science. So he does a lot of the coding side of things. I do a lot of the math side of things, and together we make a really good team. I went to Ithaca College. I majored in math and applied psychology. All right, thoughts on Tyson Williams? Yeah, Tyson Williams and Justice Hill, like either of those guys are going to end up carving out a role that's bigger than what we definitely expected heading into the season, but I'm not that high on them in fantasy football. I think Gus Edwards is going to pretty clearly be the lead back. I think he's going to get 15-plus carries a game. So what's the ceiling for the second guy? The ceiling is not as high as the ceiling was for Gus Edwards before J.K. Dobbins got hurt. But I feel like people are taking these Ravens running backs like around where Gus Edwards was getting picked when J.K. Dobbins was healthy. I would not take them as soon as that. Because, first of all, they're not as good as Gus Edwards. And second of all, they could split that role together. There's a chance that Tyson Williams and Justice Hill share what the Gus Edwards role was going to be. Or kind of part of the J.K. Dobbins, part of the Gus Edwards role. I think Gus Edwards is the guy to have. Gus Edwards went in the 2nd round in this draft, right? 2nd round. Yeah, 2nd round. He went 2nd round. At the end, are there even going to be real NFL players? No, there probably won't be. Literally in rounds 9, 10, 11, 12. And you got to tune in to the TikTok live streams going on right now. You can follow all of our TikTok creators on TikTok by just going to WalterPicks on TikTok and clicking on the list of people I'm following. And then when you follow them, you can tune into their lives. They're all live right now. Almost all of them are live right now. And you can hear their thoughts about how their draft is going. And you can stay up to date as the draft is going on. Because I do have to sign off. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you're tuning in to the live streams on TikTok going on right now and all throughout the rest of the draft. Guys, I'll be back live very soon, early this week, and every single Sunday morning, I will be live on YouTube, on TikTok, making sure we are all prepared for the right start, sit decisions, the player props, and everything else you need to know before 1 o'clock on Sunday. I can't wait, guys. I feel like I'm in season form in terms of my stamina to live stream, because Sunday mornings, I will wake up around 4:30 a.m. I will submit all my lineups, finish my research, finish watching the rest of all of the games that I've missed, and then I will go live from like 7 a.m. to like 1 o'clock. So I'm very excited because I'm feeling ready for that. And I wasn't like a month ago, and I'm feeling ready for it now. So make sure you're tuning into the Sunday morning live streams. I'm very excited to kick those off. And to make sure you don't miss them, you just got to go subscribe, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the alert notification button, and then you won't miss it. And you're going to dominate your fantasy leagues this season. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night. If you want to follow along with the draft, you got to go to TikTok, follow our WalterPicks TikTok creators, and tune into their lives because they'll be going through it all night long. Have a good one, guys. All right, as always, we are going to finish up the live stream on YouTube. I always end the TikTok stream a little before the YouTube stream and try to get to some of the comments. And I'm gonna stay for just a couple more minutes. I do appreciate everyone tuning in. This draft is going to become it has been interesting. It's going to change, though, from interesting to just absolutely hilarious very soon. It's going to go from interesting to hilarious. I'd say probably in the 6th or 7th round, it will change from being very interesting to just absolutely hilarious. So I'm excited for that part of the draft. I'm excited to see how it ends up turning out. I'll definitely make a TikTok about it. All right. I can't wait for the season. Looking forward to the stream, Sam. Justin, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Guys, have a good rest of your night, and thank you for tuning in. And again, you can tune in to the draft still on TikTok Lives. Big draft tonight, my man. Good luck, Jack. Good luck, man. I'm signing off to go prepare for our draft, and also I got to eat some dinner, man. All right, have a good night, and I'll be back live soon.